are listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. We are in week 4 of Anna Gale Lyne's latest novel, The Lightyears, involving a Mobile Alliance surgical hospital battling an epidemic at the front lines of the Freedom Alliance Crimson Fleet War. This is Episode 4 Standard Protocol. If you have not subscribed, do so now, and if you are on YouTube, hit the bell to be notified of new episodes.
I made it halfway down the hall when I felt my blood sugar plummet. I started feeling shaky. Heat engulfed me. I stopped for a moment, realizing Jake trailed me. I moved into the food court, trying to remember if I took my medication this morning. I retrieved my Quan pad out of my pocket and pulled up the device on my arm. I noticed the medication in it needed to be replenished, and it did not alert me. I reloaded the medication. It would be a problem we would have to work on before the device was marketed. Once the medication started to move into my bloodstream, I started to feel better. Jake turned me around and demanded, "Do you want to tell me what that nonsense you were spilling back there was about?" It wasn't nonsense. You have no idea what I have been through, and yes, I want to tell you, but like I said, it is a part of an ongoing investigation. I am not allowed to speak of it. I bet your pal Graham knows about this. Yes, because he is in charge of the investigation, and you know that he and I are very close friends since our high school days. He is happily married with 2 children. We sat and ordered our food through the screen in the middle. I am sure that Graham was able to get you through this little crisis, Jake expressed, gesturing to me, of yours. I put my hands over my face and took a ragged breath. I removed them and locked eyes with Jake. I said with grave deliberation, "It is taking all my strength not to go off on you right now, to hit you, to break ties with you forever. I understand that you don't get that what I have been through could be anything of significance because you just see the dead husband and the 2 additional children, so you figure my life was rosy. It wasn't. It isn't." I rolled up the sleeves of the turtleneck under my Woodland fatigues, showing my arms to him. "And I have the scars to prove it." I pulled down the neck of my turtleneck. "Danny, those are burns." "Very good, Dr. Riley. Now can you stop acting like you are the only one who has the corner on trauma? I will never be the Danny you need and want, so stop trying to make me into her. I wish I could be her, but she died about 8 years ago." He raised the privacy wall and voiced, taking my hands, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I'm sorry for what you have been through, but you are still Danny. You are still my Danny. I see it in your eyes and in your heart. The burns, I don't care about them. You will always be beautiful to me. I am having the rest of them removed. The doctor is coming in a couple of days. I just want to feel pretty for the first time in years." I shook my head and remarked, "I know that is vain, but," he gave me a sidelong glance. "Josh didn't tell you." I looked away and then moved my eyes back to Jake. I don't want to talk about him. To suffice to say, it wasn't his style. I just want that one thing that I can control, to get the burn scars on my arms and neck removed. I had them all over my body. I was in recovery for months. I don't think they expected me to survive. It is the only time your mother was nice to me. She took Zariah in until I was well. You said they didn't expect you to survive. The doctors? No, the people who did it to me. Unfortunately, they have never faced the consequences of their actions, and I am starting to doubt they ever will. It does not matter what you have been through. I will be with you through it all. All I have dreamed of for the last 10 years is getting back to you, and telling you how much I love you. There are a lot of things I have been involved with, that when you find out about them you are going to be angry. But will you promise you will let me explain why I had to do what I did? Why Graham and I did what we did?" Just then he lowered the privacy wall as the waiter came over with our food and drinks. The waiter set a soda and BLT in front of me and a soda and burger in front of Jake. Once the waiter left, he raised the privacy wall. As a section chief and general, I respect Graham. I put half of the BLT to my lips. "You should. He is one of the youngest officers to make general in the Freedom Alliance." He nodded, lifting the burger to his mouth. "The 3 of us were close friends in high school. I was always envious of how close you 2 are. It was like if I wasn't in the picture, he would have stolen you away from me. I figured it would have been Graham you married and not some random guy. Graham and I have never been romantically interested in each other. I was thrilled when he married Sabrina Stetson and adopted Mitzi and had Presto. I wish I could have been on the liberty to see him get married. He married Bree? She is very pretty and smart. We ate in silence for a few minutes. Was your marriage happy? I looked up at him over my sandwich and wondered, why would you ask that? Everyone I have talked to, all our friends and people we know, said that it seemed like you two lived separate lives, like you were friends rather than spouses. People get married for different reasons that don't always have to do with love, but we did respect and admire each other. I did a lot of things to keep people safe that I would not have done if my back was not against the wall, if people's lives were not on the line. He eyed me curiously. Yeah, I think if it had been someone else, you for instance, telling me that they did not marry for love but rather to keep someone, or in this case, people, safe, I would be giving them that look too, but I think, no, I am convinced, he was killed. I slid my Quan pad across the table. Take a look at my research. I took another bite of my sandwich as he looked at it. He pored over it as he alternated between taking a bite of his burger and eating French fries for several minutes while I finished my sandwich and started to work on my fries. What you have discovered is fascinating. You obviously reversed engineered the disease to get this type of research. From your data here, you think that this disease is transmitted through being in close contact with a person. If that is true, how did you not get infected? You were obviously in close contact with Josh 2 times. I looked away and then turned back to see him. Who says I am not? He raised his eyes to meet mine. Is that why you tried to push me away? Am I infected now? He lifted his eyebrows. If you are infected, how are you still alive? And does your boy Graham know? I am not contagious now. I am alive because of the treatment I discovered, which is now used as standard protocol for everyone infected. Graham does not know that I have it, and we are not telling him. Jake wrinkled his nose. I don't know. I know this case is important to you. I don't trust anyone but you and I to handle this case and find out what really happened. I trust you. That should mean something because I don't trust easily. But do not do this for me. If this takes me out, Zariah is going to be separated from the siblings she grew up with. They are going to live with Josh's mother. I rolled my eyes. She makes your mother look tame in comparison. She is involved with some cult and will incorporate them into that way of life. And who knows what will happen to my nephews. Okay, but if you show signs of distress or we get in over our heads, I am letting Graham in on this, although I kind of relish keeping secrets with you from him. I understand that. I am just glad that you are going to let me finish what I started because I am the one who has done all the research and came up with the treatment. I am fully invested in this. I have to know if Josh was killed. If he was, that is going to open up a whole lot of other questions, like by who? If you two were friends, why did you marry? You are treading into territory that is under investigation at this moment. Not that I married Josh, but the reason I married him. It is all a part of the ongoing investigation. I wish I could explain further. I wish you could too because you are starting to worry me. I wish I knew how I could help you. I don't know if you have figured this out yet, but I still love you. I know you are worried, but if you will investigate the voice with the recordings I forwarded to you, you are going to discover the truth, or parts of it, at which point Graham said we will explain. That is something. What is that device you are wearing on your arm? It is a medical device that my engineer and I created that has a person's medications in it and distributes them as directed throughout the day into the bloodstream. That is incredible. Are you the only one who is testing it out? I shook my head, pushing away my plate. No, everyone who has been on the treatment has one except the new cases up at the front. We were seeing only a handful of cases. Now we are seeing a surge. I am wondering what is causing that. I am looking into atmospheric disturbances, activities such as bombings at the front and so forth, but so far I am at a loss. I mean, I know there are people who did not like Josh. I am surprised that the people in the intel community didn't know what kind of man I married, what his associations were. You were married to a person of questionable associations? Oh, they were definitely questionable, at best. Look into it. You will find out. Just then Zariah approached us. I lowered the privacy wall. Mom, can I? I looked at her. Mom, may I go do my homework with my study group in the library? It is Andrea, George and Liam. You know their parents. We have to do this history project and present it in class in 2 weeks. What are you doing it on? Jake questioned. looking from Zariah to me and back again. That is what we have to meet about. May I go? Jake looked to me. I am okay with it if you are. I turned to Zariah and nodded. Be home by 10. 10? She is only 14. Jake countered, eyeing me. I returned my eyes to Zariah and insisted, 10, and more work and less Liam, okay? She nodded. Zariah kissed her dad's cheek, then mine, before rushing for the exit. Who is Liam? Questioned Jake, putting his intertwined fingers under his chin with his elbows on the table. I met you when I was her age, and she thinks she is in love with this boy just like I thought I was with you. We had the real deal. We were in love with each other. And still are. I felt my lips inch up at the sides. I don't want her to get heartbroken yet. I know it is a part of life, but she is so young. If Liam breaks her heart, he and I are going to have words. There are only two options. They are together forever or they break up. My concern is her schoolwork. I told her she is only allowed to see Liam socially if she keeps up with her schoolwork. I want at least 80% in her classes for her to go to ship events with Liam. There has to be some adult supervision, and it has to be adult supervision I trust. That seems fair at this age. You should have heard the way she yelled at me, claiming I just wanted to ruin her life. If Daddy was here, he would let her. I told her Dad would have been stricter than me. I would be. Yes. I see your point, though. It is hard to tell her she cannot go to supervised events with this guy when we did. How did it go with the wounded? It was good. No major complications except we have 3 new cases of this disease. They need to be put on the treatment right away. The nurses did that. They told me, a doctor, that it was standard protocol. I see now why they were surprised I didn't know. Just then I saw Graham looking around the food court. Then when he spotted me, he moved over to our table. Hey Jake, how is it going? He moved a chair around and straddled it. How's adjusting to normal civilization? It has been good seeing Danny and our daughter again. I will be better once I figure out what you and Danny are hiding. Graham exchanged a troubled look with me. I was telling Jake that I didn't think it would be a good idea if we rekindled our relationship from 10 years ago because of all that has gone down both with him and me. Danny, I thought we discussed this, Graham interjected. We did, and I made my decision. I feel better, replied Jake, moving his eyes from me to Graham and back again. That she, looking at Graham, and you are not on the same page. It always felt like you two were too close even when her and I were dating. I was always afraid she would dump me and be with you. I am glad you married someone else and have kids, so you won't interfere when I win her back. I know Danny will not get involved with a married man.
You have been listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. If you'd like to learn more about Anna Gale, you can go to AnnaGaleLines.com. It's ANNAGAILLYNES.com. And there you can download the first book in the Space Base LVN series called The Last Chance Station for free. You can also buy her other science fiction books on the website, Amazon, BN.com, Lulu, and many other online outlets. Also sign up for the newsletter to keep updated as to what's going on in the world of the Anna Gale Lines podcast, her motivational podcast that helps women live significant lives, and Space-Static Mysteries podcast. Follow her on social media, Lady Anna Gale on TikTok, Anna Gale Lines on Twitter, and Anna Gale Lines Artist on Instagram. Join our Facebook page at facebook.com/author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being you.